CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. Everybody, we're back with David Hahn with Remberg, and if you haven't seen the previous episode, you got to go check that out. There's some cool stuff coming from Remberg. David and I have been talking about it. I also want to let you guys know Remberg is going to be at SMRP out in Raleigh, North Carolina. For any of you that want to get to that show and grab a discount, when you go register, plug in the code CMMSradio, all smushed together, all caps, you're going to get 10% off, because I want you to have an opportunity to talk to David kind of the way I do, where it's just unscripted, what's been going on. So first of all, David, welcome back to CMMS Radio.
Glad to be back, my friend.
It's been several weeks since we last talked, and I got to see some of the things that you've been working on, and we were just now kind of talking about it. So can you just kind of tell me the latest things you've been working on and what you're getting ready to kind of show the world?
Yeah, so it's an exciting time. I can understand if someone says AI, you're like, the next guy. And you're like, oh. And then people shut off because they have maybe done some stuff with ChatGPT and had some emails being written for them and some manuals being checked, etc. But since the last 6 months or so, there has been a new kind of world that we're entering in. And I think it's a mistake that we are shutting off now when looking at AI, because this is the exact moment where we should be all hands on deck and understanding what this actually means for us. What am I talking about? So when you look at these former chat functionality, okay, everyone has some sort of a chat, okay. But what you can do now is, with the next level of AI agents, is that you can make them do work for you. And the question then was, obviously, what does this mean for maintenance? Because we're not going to get rid of the people who are actually going out there in the physical world and fixing the world. And this phenomenal feeling that you have when the machine wasn't running and then you fix it and then you you have it up and running again. But then you have to sit down and document what you have done. That's one example where wouldn't it be just nicer to just talk to an AI agent who listens to you, asks you some counter examples or counter questions, and then takes care of the rest, files everything in the right time, the parts that you have consumed, etc. It's just one example.
Yeah.
What if you could have a planning and scheduling agent taking care of the scheduling according to your rules on a daily basis? So what if you could have an analysis done for you, et cetera, et cetera? And this is like where we're entering a new era where agents are going to be part of the maintenance world, and maintenance managers in the future are going to manage several teams, one of humans, one of agents. And I think there's an exciting time, and it's we can talk a lot about it. I can show you what we've been learning, mainly from the manufacturing environment, with German manufacturing excellence at the core. And now is the time for us with SMRP to bring this agentic CMMS to the US for the first time.
I love the way you describe that as agentic CMMS, because you see a lot of things out here in the market. And what I want to point out for everyone, you and I have had these conversations, both recorded and unrecorded, where you're not really talking about any of the competition or anything like that. I've actually seen you showcase so many of the others in the industry and kind of appreciate what they've done. But you've got this more focused vision on how does this really work when we already have to manage maintenance teams, and we need the supplemental kind of horsepower and technology that not only amplifies them, because CMMS is typically one of those technologies you bring in when you have good foundational excellence, good maintenance practices. From a manufacturing perspective, you're actually doing the things that keep the machines available, right? Reliable, which creates availability, which increases throughput. But there's much more to that story we don't want to spin out. But when we talk about augmenting and kind of amplifying what's being done right, this approach, agentic CMMS, like the first time I've ever heard the term agentic CMMS. So I'm going to just say right now, Remberg is the first agentic CMMS. And what that means is we're not excluding maintenance. We're making maintenance front and center, and the agents are supporting them along the way. And they're not running amok. They're not doing all this crazy stuff. I don't want to spin out too much on this, but the way this connects is far more appropriate than some of the things I've seen out there. And I'm wondering, I can't do it on this platform, but if we switch out to a different platform, are you saying that right here, right now, you could show us some of this in action and we could record it and share it?
I would love to. I mean, it's a lot about talking, and then I can show some slides here and there, and everyone's putting AI everywhere. I'm not familiar with the whole content of what's being shown at SMRP, but probably 80% of the people there will put some sort of AI somewhere. And I think what we need to do is show practical use cases that take the burden, especially from an administrative side of things, off the people who keep our world running. And I think we've done a great job in the last decades on digitizing things, right? So CMMS was about digitizing things, but still a human needed to coordinate. This work order needs to be performed by this person. A human, maybe you put some automation with like rules in there, but there was always someone then still having to, even if it's nicer that you drag and drop a work order to a certain person, that's a nicer thing than like putting it on a whiteboard. But we haven't really taken the burden of people. They still, even if it's mobile, you have to type in, you have to have a little bit of voice to text maybe, but it's not really taking that away from you. And I think this is the first moment in the history of humankind where we can, it's not about replacing the maintenance people. It's not going to happen. It's about getting them to do the things that they do best, fixing the world. And this is something, yeah, of course we can show it. Let's dive in. I'm happy to share where we are.
Cool. And just kind of take what you were saying. That's the approach that matters, because when it's all said and done, hopefully it'll never be done, right? Like something bad happens and we lose our technology, and we need these people that are maintenance people, skilled trades people, mechanics, welders, all that to come into the fold and save us, because that's who will be doing it. Sure, there'll be some advanced degree people and people that understand all this other stuff helping us, and engineers, but the way you're thinking about it and the way this is going to work is far more appropriate, because we already have a deficit, right? We're deficient on the available maintenance people that have the experience that we need, and we have to build them, and we're going to have this gap. That's an inevitable gap. But now what you're talking about, and I do want to see it, so we'll switch out in a second here, but what you're talking about is without eliminating the work being done on the administrative stuff, on the proper documentation, on the ability to see, track, and appropriately assign things from a planning and scheduling perspective. Two different things, right? We've got our planning, then we've got our scheduling. I'm assuming, and I know that's a dangerous word, right? We all know the funny way to use that word. But when we look at things like resource availability in our humans that do the actual work, giving back that time, but then also with parts, supplies, supply chain, things that might communicate to and fro the ERP or whatever other system is in place. Now we're getting ahead on that. We can start to reduce buffer. We can also reduce, I'm going to say time to value, but I want to kind of switch that to time to work, meaning to say, if I know where my parts are and I do have them, and the system can tell me, yes, you can safely schedule this because we know this part is in this tool room and it's not in some squirrel stores. Now you're starting to really do a form of kitting, but you're doing it digitally so that a person doesn't have to necessarily do that part of the work, but someone could review it. That scheduler could say, yep, Yep. Looks good. Verified. Boom. Gone. Just saved a
It's
ton of
exactly how it
time.
works.
Yeah.
It's exactly how it works.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we're going to get into it, folks. So we'll splice this right in. So let me stop recording here, and we'll see you in a minute. So we're back, folks. We're splicing this in. We had to switch to a slightly different platform because David is going to show us some of this stuff and get you a real sense of what this is all about. And I'm happy about that because we don't just talk about it. Now you get to see it while we're talking about it. So what do you got for us, David?
All right. Let me share my screen and then we take it from there. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. So classical kind of overview, world leading brands, German manufacturing, modern maintenance software. All right. But what are we talking about today is across the industry, maintenance technicians, despite great CMMS technology, are still spending only around 30% of their time with actual wrench time, right? So the question is, where do we still lose the time? And depends on the source where you're taking this from Reliable Plant here. Some people say it's more 20. Some people say it's more 25, 30. Doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, we're losing time. So we are walking a lot. We are searching a lot. We are searching for parts, waiting for parts, information search. We are documenting after the completion of a work order, and we are planning and scheduling. So the question is, which of these parts can easily be augmented, as you said, Greg, with agentic AI? So it's definitely not that you will be replacing the wrench time, fixing the machines with, I don't believe that it's going to be replaced soon by humanoid robots or something. But then even if it's humanoid robots, who is maintaining the humanoid robots? It's going to be humans. So this part can be addressed. So let's take an example in our solution. And I mean, in the end, the agentic CMMS is still a CMMS, right? So you have assets and equipment, functional locations, you have planning and scheduling capabilities, you have simple reactive maintenance flows, etc., mobile reporting. But here, these things become really relevant, where you can take 30 is actually underrated, 40, 50% of the planning and scheduling work off the people's back. You can speak 3 to 5 times faster typically, but when you think of a technician with a tablet, I think it's more like 6 to 8 times faster. So we'll take a look at a couple of examples. When I go into our solution, you have the classical core objects, just like with any other CMMS as well. So you have plant, hall level, production line level, and then each machine, so to say, or each asset gets its own patient file, so to say, right? So you see at a glance everything that you need to see. So
And
now, yeah, go ahead.
I see that you've got the mapping on the location within the facility as well.
This
Or
is
is that the building location?
this is now a Google Map location, but we have layout plans as well, where you add floor plans actually, where you can then see. I can show you later if you're interested. So let's take a simple example. We have had results where we took down the time to failure resolving, so resolution time, of over 50% within 3 months. How did we do that? We just imported all the assets from an ERP. We have connectors to all of the existing ERPs. We're also SAP partner. And then the classical kind of QR code step in, right? So you just put it everywhere. And then you have people scan the QR code when they notice a problem. So for us in the European environment, we often have people in the operator segment who are not capable of German or also English that well. So when they put a work request, they have only 3 clicks to do. So warning, failure type may be software, and then they just take a photo. So with the photo, we just take a photo of the control unit and put it there. And we could now speak into it in Turkish, in Spanish, in whatever language we want. And this is a simple example where we are filing a work request. So what is the agent now doing? In the background, you have a library of AI agents who are pre-installed, basically, or you can add them manually. So here you see there is a work request agent that we have a description with and some instructions. And the instructions is either run manually when triggered, or do this, take the responsible person, etc. So it will go through all work requests with our instruction and process the work request completely automated. It will take a look at the respective picture, analyze the picture, and then select all of the things that we wanted to select already here. So now I take a look in the maintenance department. I have a big screen and I look at the work requests that are coming in. And the agent has already done some work for me. It has analyzed the respective picture that shows this information. Then it has analyzed all existing work requests already, whether something similar is already in place. Then it has translated the information from the picture or the spoken language automatically into my language as a maintenance team. So it could have been filed completely in Spanish or other languages. And it has pre-selected that this is likely a repair type. It's a medium case based on the history. And the performing group is now selected as a maintenance team. So this is all being done by an agent on the set rules.
There's something that is kind of a weird question, but this comes up a lot, where a lot of organizations are looking for ways to automate the approval and assignment step, which I think is both good and potentially, I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but there's so many parameters and variables as it relates to when and why you should approve and assign something. But I'm just curious, is that an option that an agent could be trained on those parameters? Although I never want to leave out the machine whisperers.
Yes, so you basically put all of the parameters in the agent skill for what you wanted to consider. And you can also say, please run the work request agent for me. And then it runs all the steps that we have just discussed and goes through every single work request and checks the set of rules. Am I really applying the parameters? Yes.
Wow.
So it automatically understands that the work request agent that we have defined is being triggered. And now it basically does already use the action work request agent, and then it goes basically all the steps that a human would do. So the loaded options is like, check all work orders. Are they approved, declined, completed, or new? Then it takes all the new ones, obviously, because the approved, declined, completed are not supposed to be part. Then it lists all the work orders, then it reads all the work orders, and then it goes all the rules that we just defined. And it does this completely on the instructions that I have given it. So I can easily change the instructions at any point in time. I can put qualification metrics for who is allowed to do what kind of work. I can tell it, schedule the work. The corrective work is more important than the preventive one with a higher degree. Then it can override existing things and so on and so forth. And I have told the agent that I want to have a steering wheel, basically. So whenever it has come up with something like a suggestion, I want to be presented with the result first, and then I accept whether I want this action to be taken or not. So now it reads all the assets. So it already took 44 steps. So it takes a little bit of time because I have quite a number of open work orders here. When it's being done several times, then it becomes faster. I can also change the speed and so on and so forth, but I really wanted to do great work here. So it now follows all the instructions that we have given. I can show it one more time here. Meanwhile, while we let the agent do its work. So in the agent setup, I go on the work request agent, and here are all the instructions one more time that I can then say corrective work order may be assigned to the best matching person, even when that person already has planned work. The agent must explicitly flag if it's an override, and so on and so forth. So this is how it basically runs all the time in the background. So now we have reviewed 23 work orders and no approvals, assignments, and it basically now comes up with suggestions on with its confidence level on who should be taking over which work request, and I could just tell it, please assign them according to your suggestions or change something.
So you do not have to fully automate it. You can partially automate it. And the reason I'm asking this is, as I see this all unfold, I have this idea in my mind. So for years and years and years, decades, we have organizations that bring in technology. Maybe they've got a good, solid foundation and they set it up right. But then the question is this administrative process and this concept of triaging when it comes to work and validation of the triaging process, where, you know, based on criticality, based on potential impact to a line and so forth, that it will do what I've taught it. It will also be improved. It will get faster and faster. And this helps when you have more people doing the work and maybe less people doing that administration and that triage. So it helps them think, because they're doing the things that are purely clerical, so to speak. And then it's starting to develop a sense of intelligence. It's machine learning, it's LLM, but it's taking that programmatic data. It's not just getting it out from the internet here, there, and everywhere. It's on these guardrails. And now you can do quicker cursory reviews to then push or pull, push back, send forward these work items, especially on a failure. Depending on how we rate what that failure is, we want that going as quickly as possible. And then on non-failures, but impending failures or impending damage, we can get those elevated on that priority list. So it does a lot of that prioritization for you, because with your clients and all the clients we've all heard about, talked to, the numbers of these items coming through are very high.
Yes, of course. And it's being prepared for you based on the triaging rules that you have set. So you basically sit down and put all your knowledge on how to triage work requests, and then let it do this based on your instructions already for you. And then you approve if you are okay. And then it's taking basically everything over from the respective work request already for you with the pictures attached. And then we are switching from a work request object to a work order object. And here, in a reactive maintenance environment, we typically do not have a big kind of planning board, and like it has to be quick, right? So it has to be simple and quick that people get assigned based on a certain set of rules. And obviously this is also completely available on mobile, so the notification is already sent to a certain person. So here the AI specifically only selected a certain group already predefined. I can also manually change things, of course. So I'm putting that to Julian. And then now that I have this overview of the typical things that you do, you have to now go there as a technician and fix the world, basically. And now you could either go through each thing, then click on plus or put on start and stop, etc., and select the parts, etc. So here we have a control unit problem with protocol, whatever. And now we're going back to the slide where we said, okay, so it's just one part of planning and like assigning. We're going to the scheduling and planning part later. But how about the documenting part? So I want to just have a agent predefined, just like we created the other agent for work request handling. I created another one, which is called work order reporting. So I just click on it and it guides me through the things that I need to do now. So make it extremely simple. When we look at the agent for work order reporting, then basically it has a couple of instructions. Again, you are the work order reporting agent. Your job is to record a technician's work, extract the information on time, start, work performed, parts consumed, resolve any missing information automatically, resolve the work order, follow the work order business rules, etc. So there's a lot of instructions again being put here. And now it just asks me, what should I report on the work order? And instead of typing, now I can just say, I now went to the machine and checked the control unit. I have seen that the cable wasn't working well anymore, so I replaced the cable with a SR2 cable, and it took me roughly 30 minutes, and I finished now, so please record the time accordingly.
Beautiful.
So it checked all of this, and I don't need to do anything else. It just now does what it does. It will create a note in the knowledge base how we fix the situation. It will select the times for me with the starting date 30 minutes ago and put it to now as a finish date. Then it will go through all the parts and search for SR2 cable, even if it's not a specific information. If it doesn't find the part, it will ask me one more time, do you mean this and this part? And then it does the rest for me, fills the times, the parts, the costs will be calculated based on the part costs and the time consumed with an hourly rate that I have set in the global settings. And then the work order is completed and it's done, and it just does it for me. So it just, that's it. I don't need to do anything else. And it tells me now, look, I have, first of all, here, update the work order, accept, sure. Then the performing person is me, inventory shelf, stock taken, R2S cable. So I'm accepting that as well. And in the end, create a note, check the control unit, and replace the 40 cable. So everything that it does, it's trained to ask me one more time, do you really want it to be like that? I can also change in the settings that I don't want to check anymore. So create or update update data automatically. If I really trust it at some point, it can also just take care of that. And now see, the work order has been completed. And now, if we check this one more time, the whole work order is on completed. Now in the work, we have the note being done for us. We have the times being recorded with 30 minutes. We have the part being selected and taken. The costs are being extracted automatically, and the work order is completed.
What I like about I prefer that it asks you, okay, are you good with all this that I came up with, as opposed to fully automating it until we really have a super high confidence interval, confidence level that it's accurate. And the other thing I want to ask is, on completion, is there an opportunity within the entire platform, right, within Remberg, to say, on my completed work orders, I want a review period for somebody else that's of a certain authority, or an agent and that person, to do a review afterwards to say, yes, this is safe to actually close out?
Yeah, so I could do two things. First of all, I would have a, I could just do another kind of status and say, completed with AI, check one more time. Then I would probably create an agent and say, okay, new agent is called review agent. Review all existing work orders that are put to the status completed with a certain set of rules. Then I would put the instructions based on the maintenance manager view and flag everything. For instance, there's a procedure not completely filled, or there's a signature missing, or anything like that. But what you just said is also possible. You could just do it. We don't need that one. You could also have it. The agent doesn't automatically complete, so you don't have to accept everything. You just say, fill it out for me without asking. And then I say, put it then into the status of AI review. And then I check one more time here in the work, in the times, in the parts, because I need to do this anyway. So I can let it do its job. And then that's it, basically.
Yeah, this is a lot to take in, but this is really useful. And I like things that are useful, purposeful. And the one final question I have is, all these things that are happening in the system, whether it's here with work orders, preventive maintenance items that get generated automatically, on and on like that, assets that get created, changed, updated, moved, decommissioned, recommissioned, any of those, are there what I like to call audit trails, so that somebody can always look at, when was something done, changed, edited, entered, by whom, what time and date stamped? Is that throughout the platform?
Yeah, everywhere.
Excellent.
Of course. I mean, we have
And
also a lot
reportable.
of, yes, we have also clients from quite a number of regulatory environments where we wouldn't be able to, like all of the things that you would expect from a general, I would say, modern CMMS are there. The key is that we made it feel like home for agents. And now for the first time, we can let agents take care of things for us. And so and the thing is, now we have had 2 examples where we believe, first of all, of course, you can also use it for information search. So you can let agents run through the system and do any kind of analysis for you. What are my bad actors? You get a report of this. We're not going to go too much into detail. I want to have one additional example where the planning and scheduling actually has a big impact. Because as of today, we know that from all the things that have to be done in a preventive way, only around 30% are actually thoroughly planned. That means the procedures are being generated, the full-fledged, the associated parts are pre-selected that are needed for that kind of job to be done, etc. So if we can increase the planning degree from 30 to 80%, that almost then doubles the range time capability if you think about it, because then the travel time and the part search time, etc., goes down. Because what you can obviously do is you can also create. I tried it today. Is let's talk about the maintenance plans part. So let's see. I'm coming in. I'm let's say a manager. There's a new machine coming in. Then there's a certain file, I'm uploading the document, and then I just click on the AI agent and say, maintenance plan agent. So what does it do? It now goes through the historic information about this asset, but if it's a new one, it takes the manuals and all of the information that is available, and now extracts all of the repetitive things that I need to do over the life cycle of this asset, and then creates maintenance plans with that exact cycle already fully automated for me, so I can review it one more time. So also the effort that is needed to create preventive maintenance tasks is always the problem when people are what we talked about. They are in firefighting mode. Things are happening all the time, and then you are supposed to sit down, even if you are bringing in a, sorry, the guy saying goodbye. Even if you're bringing in then a new CMMS, someone has to sit down in human years and then create each maintenance plan manually. And now this can be completely automated as well. So here you have then, again, it's going through each search file, etc. So we take a look at it. I checked. So there's no documentation attached here because we have a differentiation with the knowledge base here. But to give you an example, I think I had one here, maintenance plan. Let me check. Maintenance plan agent. Wait a second. Here. So where it then created the weekly cleaning, the half-yearly position, so we can just check out this one. All of the maintenance plans attached were basically completely AI generated, and then also the resulting work orders are completely AI generated, and then I can check them one more time. So that is part from how to get into from reactive to preventive maintenance in a sense.
And you can work in German, and I could be in there, and I'm working in English, and we're all good to go.
Yes. And then of course, sorry, Greg, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I was just going to say that all these different things are really valuable and unique. Another follow-up question was that when we're all at SMRP and people want to visit with you, they'll actually be able to interact, see it, maybe even try it themselves, or at least see a brief demo.
Yeah. So we are launching this. We launch it now first in Europe, but we'll launch it in the US at SMRP. And then people can start using it. You can actually test it out for free on our website. We really want to bring value to the table. It's not about a lot of blah, blah, and then try it out, build some agents, see whether they can provide value to you, and take care of the administrative work that your technicians do not like. and then see whether you want to go take the next step with us. So here's an example for planning and scheduling. So obviously you can go through all maintenance work orders that are already up for running. So I created a scheduling agent. So what we can do is run the scheduling agent for tomorrow. And then again, the same is true. And that's what we want people to understand. So when you look at the, it's always the same logic. So you're creating an agent, you instruct it with the exact thing that it should do: plan start date, user qualifications, history, eligible work orders, if they're not completed, canceled. So all of the things that you could think of that somewhat help the agent understand and doing a better job, safety and suitability checks, make sure the work order has related asset or clear work location, all of the things that you could think of, you just put it there and then let it do its job. So that now does the same thing one more time. We'll take a look one more time when it's finished. It will take a couple of moments. It needs to go through a lot of steps, all of the work orders, and then you just revisit and you do the same thing again. You don't let it just hands-free do its job on autopilot. You let it plan everything into a state that says pre-planned by AI. And then the maintenance manager reviews one more time and says, okay, everything's fine. Now you can actually assign it and notify people.
So one of the things I'm thinking about at SMRP, or even right now, because we're going to get this out ahead of SMRP so people have an awareness of this, because I really want them to be able to see it. When we're talking about technicians, we want them to have a certain view, and they're not going to be interested in too much of the, this, that, and the other. They want to, hey, show me my work. What needs to be done? What's a priority? Is it ready to go? Let me go do my work, and then get me going on to my next work, because that's what I do. A planner is going to be wanting to look at some of these things, and then someone else, even at a different level on the side, over here, whatever, wants to see more comprehensive views. So I'm assuming, and you don't have to show this now, I want people to see it at SMRP too, dashboards that are unique to what my role is in that plant or managing multiple plants. All those things are possible as well?
Yes, of course. As I said, multi-site support, all the classical things. Of course, you drill down. I mean, we have a mission, right? So the mission is not get the best, most features or whatever. It's about simplifying maintenance. That's the whole thing. If we can simplify it, then people can focus on what really matters. And you don't see any AI here. It's not, who cares whether it's AI or not? It should simplify things. And so, yes, of course, certain roles need to be seeing only what they're supposed to see. The mobile app is as clean as it can get. You can check it out. You try it out. And yeah, I mean, I think I showed what I wanted to show. So now you see basically all of the schedule for tomorrow is being done. Completely on the set of rules. So we take a look one more time. So now you see all of the things for tomorrow that have been scheduled by AI and pre-selected all of the spare parts that are needed, etc. So it's quite, I would say, it's that I'm convinced by the level of capability, not so much to give AI the most complex things. It's about giving AI the repetitive, the administrative things that people with high degrees of qualification from a technical point of view should not be spending time on. That's the whole point. And what I want to bring across is this is just the beginning. So it's us having the chance to define the age of agents for maintenance. I think it's the first time in the human history that you can do this kind of stuff. And I think that's quite exciting. And we, first of all, in the history, we thought, yeah, there are so many CMMS offerings in the US and like a lot of things are going on there already. And so we focused very much on Europe, have world-leading brands here for manufacturing. But we thought this is such a big game changer for the industry as a global industry for maintenance that we should bring it to the people in the US. And what I really want from SMRP is give this into people's hand and then learn. What do you think can be done with this? So that's the main point.
I got a couple of people that are going to want to see it and give you that kind of feedback, not because of anything other than they've been in the trenches, they're real deal pros. So we'll be doing that. First of all, David, thank you for showing us the system in public. And I hope everybody can get to SMRP. If you're already going, you're going to want to find the Remberg booth. You're also going to want to find the CMMSradio booth, because I'm going to have David come over and sit for a recording. And I'm also going to try to get a block of time separate from that recording where you can come over there and he can field some questions and we can, kind of really get into the weeds if you want to. And I'm really excited. The system looks clean, easy to use, well thought out. And I just want to thank you for once again being here with me on CMMS Radio. I'll see you in Raleigh, North Carolina at SMRP. That is September 28th through October 1st. I got a big party plan too. You're going to see that announcement coming soon. CMMS Radio After Dark. Get yourself a discount with the code CMMS Radio, all smushed together when you register. Save 10%. We'll see you all at SMRP.
Thank you so much for having me. And by the way, I'm also going to be at IMTS. So if you want to meet me in person or check something out, please let me know.
Don't forget to try out Remberg at go.remberg.com/CMMSradio. CMMS Radio listeners get the first 3 months free. Visit go.remberg.com/CMMSradio. Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.